Welcome to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch and would like to purchase it at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at JazzTime.com. Today, I will be reviewing the Rolex GMT-Master II with a gray and black bezel, reference 126710 GRNR, new release as of 2024. I'll tell you a little bit about the history of the GMT, then tell you about where this watch stands in the lineup of other similar GMTs, then tell you about the case bezel dial bracelet movement, finally try it on and give you my thoughts. So let's start with the history. The GMT came about, it was launched by Rolex in 1954. I believe that's the same year that Rolex launched the Rolex Submariner. So this was a very big year for Rolex. In fact, in 1945, they released the Date Just, the year the Second World War ended, and then in 1953 or something like that, they also released the President. So this was a huge, massive time for Rolex. Probably after the war had finished, they spent a few years, designing, making their product, and boom, released it in the early 50s. And here you go. And look, here we are. How many years later? It's 1954. Now it's 2025. That's 70 years later, and it's a massive hit. In fact, these watches have gone on to make Rolex the biggest watch brand in terms of volume and most recognizable watch brand in the world, and that is not even close. No one else is even close. Okay, now with that said, let's talk a little bit about where this watch stands in the lineup. Of course, the GMT, since its inception in the 1950s, has gone on to have tons of variations. I mean, a lot of variations. I can't go through them all here. It's not a history lesson. There's a review on this watch. Okay, so, but there's been a lot of variations. But let's just put it this way. This is the latest iteration, the latest release of the GMT. So if you want to have the latest and greatest, well, you're looking at it right here. All right, now where does this watch stand in the lineup of other similar GMTs? Well, the GMT has many variations. As you can imagine, they make it in all the precious metals, in yellow gold, rose gold, white gold, with different dial configuration, bracelet, blah, 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 etc. Can't go through all of that. But this one is in steel, stainless steel. So there's basically three variations of the stainless steel. The one that you're looking at here, gray and black bezel. And then there's the Pepsi, which is blue and red bezel. And then there's the black and blue bezel. There's three variations. They might even come out with a Coke, which is black and red. Who knows? But right now, this is what you have. And this black and gray replaces the old version, which was all black. They had an all black version, which was released in 2005, and that got discontinued after, I don't know, 10, 15 years or so. And then they released this one, which is what you see here. This is also, some people call it the Bruce Wayne, because they call the black and blue a Batman. They call this one a Bruce Wayne. Okay, sure, fine, whatever. Anyways, so let's start talking about the watch itself, okay? Now that we've got to this part, and this watch, the steel comes in two variations: the Oyster Bracelet or the Jubilee. What you're looking at here, obviously, is the Oyster, and it's a classic watch. It's a very beautiful watch. Classics, never going to go out of style. Black is going to match literally every kind of clothing. So there's a lot of use for this kind of watch. Not to mention, it's holds value, and it's from the best watch brand in the world, at least by numbers and by popular opinion. Okay, let's talk about the dial, and I saw the case. The case has the same GMT thick and wide case that it's always had. The Submariner has a little bit thinner of a case. This has the lugs actually on this one, even though it's 40 millimeter, are thicker than the Submariner, even though the Submariner is 41 millimeter. And the GMT just has the GMT case, which is thick, which not a bad thing, because it does look pretty cool. It makes the watch look chunky, which is not a bad thing. I don't know, maybe chunky is not the right word, but that's, it makes the watch look hefty. All right. Okay, it's made out of a monoblock middle case with a screw-down case back and winding crown. Anyways, it's made out of stainless steel. It looks fantastic. Okay, let's look at the bezel here. The bezel, as I told you, three variations. What you're looking at here is the latest variation, and I really like this variation. Now, what can I say about it? Well, it's set to put the 12 at 6 o'clock at the 3 o'clock position, where it says 6. So you have a 24-hour hand, which goes around 24 hours, which tells you that the time in a second time zone. Like, for example, if you're living here in USA and you have to know the time in Asia or Europe or somewhere else, then you could use the second time zone to calculate elapsed time. And that one goes around once every 24 hours as opposed to 12. And the benefit to this bezel is that between 6 p.m., which is 18, until 6 a.m., which is 6, that time is night, which is denoted by black. And then all the rest of the time, which is 6 a.m. until 6 p.m., which is on the bottom, it's brighter. So you see it's not black anymore, it's gray, which gray obviously is lighter than black, which signifies at that time, that area in the second zone is supposed to be daytime, which is pretty cool. And obviously you don't need it for your home, for your local time, because you can just look outside, or you should know what time it is, day or night. Okay, that's a pretty cool thing. And it's also made of ceramic. Ceramic means it's not going to scratch. It could crack, but you got to hit it pretty hard. I've seen that happen, but it's not very common. Much more common is that the bezel was scratched before, but now with this beautiful ceramic bezel, it doesn't do that anymore, which is quite nice. Okay, let's look at the dial here. Now the dial, you only get one variation, it's just black, which is not a bad thing. You have the hand in green, which is, by the way, the original. The original black one had the words in green. Now each model, for example, the Pepsi or the black and blue, they have the hand, the little second. That's why you can't like swap bezels and stuff like that, because the hands won't match and the lettering won't match either, right? You see this on the Pepsi, it's red long 24-hour hand. On the black and blue, it's a blue hand. And the words here are green. If you look at the dial, you see how it says GMT-Master II is green to match the second hand. That's how it was in the original, which is pretty cool. I like that. All right. And you have this maxi dial with a very easy to read dial. It's actually one of the easiest to read watches. And the reason is because supposedly you're supposed to, pilots are supposed to be able to use this watch to tell a second time zone. And so it needs to be, easily legible, very easily legible. And they use the simplest shapes, the shapes that little kids, 3-year-old kids can recognize: circle, triangle, rectangle. I mean, very easy and big, so that you can read it. I actually had some people try to switch this watch for like a Daytona and some other ones, and actually a lot of times they came back to this watch because of the legibility. You might not think that's such a big deal, but if you're wearing the watch every day, it kind of is. All right, anyways, so, and the dial, of course, it goes around 24 hours on the second hand, on a 24-hour hand, and regular on the other. Okay, let's move on to the bracelet. The bracelet is an oyster bracelet. It also comes with a Jubilee. That part is preference. I'll just tell you that the oyster looks more sporty. The Jubilee looks a little bit less sporty. The benefit to Jubilee is that it's more form-fitting. So if you have a smaller wrist, for example, or you just want to watch this like really form-fitting, the Jubilee is going to be more comfortable. And that's just common sense. If you think about it, why that is, because the Jubilee bracelet is smaller links, so it fits to your wrist better. There's no empty wasted space and it'll drape your hand much better. So definitely for those people who have smaller wrists, I would suggest a Jubilee. Yeah, anyways, okay, so that's the bracelet, and it has a comfort extension, by the way, which is nice. You can extend it 5 millimeters, which is also a good thing, right? Okay, now what else? The movement is not any different actually from the previous generation, or if from the previous generation it is, but from the other Pepsis and stuff like that, it's not. The movement here is a 3285. I mean, not much to say about it. 70-hour power reserve is great. It's automatic. Okay, check. All right, time to try this watch on my wrist. Now, I'm 6 foot tall, 200 pounds, and I have a 7.5 inch wrist. As you see, this watch is done very nicely. It's I keep saying this for all the watches, but it's one of my favorite. I really like the Submariner. I love the GMT. These are classic Rolex watches that will never go out of style. They hold incredible value. If you buy one of these, I mean, well, you're not going to get everything you paid for back, but it depends how long you hold it. But anyways, it holds a lot of its value. It's a fantastic watch. It can be passed on to your kids. They can pass it on. This watch will work for like 100 years. And it's robust. You could dive with it. You could do tons of stuff with it. And it's just a beautiful watch. And it's classic. It'll be here forever. So look, if you want to buy this watch at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at jazztime.com.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to model as seen in video, click on it and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.